Hello and welcome to a new episode of AgroTalk, the podcast of the Sustainable Agriculture Network, SAN. I'm Irene Guzman and I am joined today by my colleague Jason Muir from the SAN Secretariat. We are very excited to be here today because our way of working is based on radical collaboration. We are a network of 38 extraordinary organizations working hard to make change in their countries. And the key part of our existence as SAN is the possibility to grow projects by bringing together our strengths.
So it was only logical that when we heard that two of our members had been key to a process of advocacy and co-creation that led to national policy, and one which will impact the lives of more than 135 million people, we realized we wanted to know everything about the collaboration that led to such a development. We are talking about the National Agroecology Strategy for Food Systems Transformation in Ethiopia, which was officially launched on March 14th. Here with us are Solomon Kebede, Director of MELCA, and Dr. Endalkachew Woldemeskel, Senior Scientist and Advisor for Research and Development at CIFOR-ICRAF. Welcome and thank you for being here today.
Hello there. Thank you very much also for us inviting for this exciting event. My name is Endalkachew Woldemeskel, as you said it, working for CIFOR-ICRAF.
Thank you very much. My name is Solomon Kebede. I'm the MELCA Ethiopia Director. It's a pleasure to be part of this important discussion. Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you in the podcast. Can we start by you telling us how your organizations and yourselves got involved in this process?
MELCA Ethiopia is actually engaging in advocacy works at federal and regional level to promote agroecology-based food system transformation. We have a dedicated program on that. We are also engaged in community level promoting agroecological practices through capacity building of communities, skill development, and providing the necessary technical skills so that communities practice agroecology in their areas. As a result, we wanted to enlarge our impact through policy and advocacy works and conducted a series of advocacy works on promoting agroecology and food system transformation, try to address the challenge of industrial agriculture through a series of workshops engaging members of the parliaments, sectoral agencies, civil society organizations, higher learning institutions, and research organizations. But having this series of workshops does not bring about the desired changes at policy level. So what we are thinking was then it is better to move the other way instead of having this series of policy recommendation and to come up with a policy white paper. Why we call it a policy white paper is because it's a government mandate to develop policies. So we develop a policy white paper and also bring our experience at local community level and a number of recommendations drawn from a series of dialogues at federal regional level and our learning at international dialogue forums, and come up with the policy documents and submitted that policy documents to the Ministry of Agriculture for consideration. So our hope was that the Ministry of Agriculture would develop a formal policy framework for that. And based on our works, when Dr. Endalkachew is taking initiative to do the same thing, to engage policymakers, they were starting benchmarking similar activities in Ethiopia. So they connected us and discussed this matter. We submit our policy white paper to them, and Dr. Endalkachew has played a pivotal role in getting through the policy barriers for governments to take this policy, National Agroecology Policy Strategy development. We, MELCA, as a civil society organization, put together key civil society groups and devise strategy how we can make the best of this initiative.
CIFOR-ICRAF, as the international global research institution, it has also agroecology transformative partnership platform, which it globally, coordinates. As an international global entity, it has that platform, and also as a global research institution, we also evaluate the through a number of projects. The multifunctional performance of agroecology. We have at hand those scientific evidences with us, but also we engage on policy and strategy developments. Provide technical assistance in developing the Kenya, for example, National Agroecology Strategy, and also in West Africa, Cameroon, in Southern Africa. So we are the second national strategy in Eastern Africa. So this international global commitment has brought us, to go for this work. Fortunately, MELCA has also started this initiative already. So we chipped in there. We took the lead on technical, collaboration and organized the thematic working group for drafting this. 40 professionals, national professionals, representing 26 institutions. MELCA is one of it. Hosting 7 of its consortium was participating in there. So this is really a transparent and very participatory process which brought us together with MELCA and others.
Thank you. That's a lot of factors involved. What strategies would you recommend for a process like this to be truly participatory and keep it transparent?
The first thing is to work on stakeholders, the national stakeholders who do put their fingerprints in agroecology. And agroecology, encompasses or includes from production to fork. You have to be very much capable to really invite all the stakeholders through all this, production to consumption, the value chain, the finances, the investors, private sectors. That has taken us a long way. So there must be a national institution which owns the strategy. In our case, the Ministry of Agriculture. They convening a national task force for this task. That was the starting point. Okay, but it was very transparent. Brought on board all the stakeholders so that nobody said we didn't hear about this strategy.
For civil society, democratic participation is very critical. Proactive, early participation is critical. And a meaningful participation in the design, in co-creation, co-design of vision is critical. There was sufficient time for us to go outside the cities and engage for 5 consecutive days and also participate in a series of dialogue processes. As a civil society, we also organize ourselves to take role where we can contribute meaningfully. So we strategize our engagement modalities. We discuss before we go to the meeting. And it was a democratic one. Dr. Endalkachew has really made a lot of efforts to make it as participatory, as transparent, and as professional as possible. So I'm very proud of him, and all participants have really applauded his efforts. Getting the attention of the state minister and key departments, this process is really a landmark and phenomenal events for us, for civil society, because Ethiopia is learning to shift to this kind of agroecology-based transformation. There was the COVID issues, the Ukraine-Russia conflicts that demand us a local level, self-reliant kind of approach, where a resilient, inclusive, and sustainable sovereign and food system in Ethiopia is required based on agroecology. So to design a sovereign system requires coming together of all stakeholders.
Getting the attention of the government sometimes is very difficult, to buy it. And we were lucky, to get that buy-in. That is the first step. Second one, when you have that buy-in, you may lack financial, resources. We had an amazing commitment of the professionals from 26, institutions, 40 people, quite dedicated. After producing those results, we didn't stop. We called in a national consultative meeting, which involves 120 participants from 91 institutions, you see? And then everybody, had a chance to reflect its view, their ideas. We are really proud of this.
Dr. Solomon, I would like to ask you, what do you think is the main change that you envision will come to the agricultural landscape in Ethiopia with this national strategy?
The first one is if this is from input dependent to regenerative farming system. This is the change that we wanted to see. This is like reducing reliance on chemical fertilizer and pesticide. So there is a need for biophysical transformation of the production system, and there is a need for directly address soil degradation, foreign exchange pressure, and climate resilience. There is also a need to change from fragmented intervention to integrated landscape approach. That is the change that we wanted to link farm level practices to watershed and landscape management, wanted to coordinate soil, water, biodiversity, and land use and agroecological zone-based planning, wanted to move Ethiopian from project-based agriculture to system-based territorial management. So we wanted agriculture to become ecologically embedded, not sectorally isolated. So for Ethiopia, it is important to move from project-based agriculture to system-based and territorial management. So agriculture is no longer measured by yield. Rather, we bring other metrics, which is important, like climate resilience, soil health, dietary diversity, nutrition outcome, and ecosystem services, as well as social inclusion. The change we wanted to see is to see a full system approach, not just agricultural growth.
We want to go for a greener and degradation-free environment, but without compromising, but contributing to the welfare and well-being of the society. Also thinking for the future generation.
We wanted to finish this conversation by asking you what's next. What are the essential steps for this strategy to become a real transformation?
Producing a strategy is simply producing a wish book. That's it. What is important in here is it is implementation. This implementation needs resource, it needs capacity, it needs coordination, commitment. There are a number of strategies in the country. There is health, there is water, there is soil conservation, horticulture development, crop livestock development. All these are strategies. These strategies should be harmonized into the umbrella of agroecology.
One of the critical factors for this National Agroecology Strategy to work is political and institutional anchoring. Without political commitment, we have a political will now, but we need further political commitment expressed in different forms. Like high-level coordination body should be put in place as proposed in the National Agroecology Strategy. That coordination arrangement should also ensure vertical integration, horizontal collaboration, strong central leadership with decentralized implementation arrangement. There must be power-sensitive design where key actors engage in the implementation and also ensure accountability. The other thing is, this is a long-term intervention. So it is important we have a prioritizing and phasing approach. We cannot do everything at once. So we need to develop a sectoral strategic plan that cascade down to the lowest administrative level, to the community level, to identify this area where we demonstrate changes. So we need to have that. An investment plan is very critical. A resource mobilization strategy and funding mechanism is critical. Without financing and investment, the strategy remain aspirational because finance is a determinant element in bringing the desired change. It is also important that this resource mobilization should be transparent and included accountability and purposefully channeled to the desired outcomes. So the other thing is it's important we have piloting the cases. So scaling pathway. So we need to launch demonstration landscapes, co-creation of knowledge system, replace linear extension with farmer field school participatory research, strengthening feedback loops, including farmers to research, research to policy, and it's also important to document results. The other most important thing is monitoring system, designing of monitoring system and follow-up to see whether our approach in the implementation is truly result-based, and we need to define indicators. We need to have a participatory monitoring system. We need to have a reporting mechanism and accountability mechanisms. We need to use a real-time transparency and a learning system. So this is very critical. Thank you.
Thank you both for joining today, and thank you to the teams of MELCA and CIFOR-ICRAF for this amazing work. It has been a very inspiring conversation, and you are demonstrating the true meaning of radical collaboration. This was AgroTalk, so follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, and stay tuned for more conversations about sustainability and innovation in agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.